Hello everyone. So we are back with our another project, and this time I thought of because every time the idea is to use different controls and with the same intentions because we want to explore and learn them. So we'll try to. That's why I have to think through what next project we shall have so that we use different controls. And before I start with our next project, the third one, I got the few comments on our video where our fellow community members requested or asked for if we can record something where we can have a Node.js running app along with an application also that being deployed to SAP systems, or an app which is involves Kappa, MTA stuff, right? And my answer is yes, why not? But only thing is the focus for these 10 projects is to keep in mind that we are exploring SAPUI5 different controls, trying to work through them, trying to understand them, trying to get comfortable with them. So maybe in our another series, uh, uh, which one and what will be the content of that series or that episode, will try to cover them. And I would say that you keep your feedback flowing, you keep your suggestions coming, and I'm open to all good feedback as well as constructive criticism also is most welcome, because it's a community which is for the people and by the people, and that's how we plan to grow. So without delaying further, uh, let's get back to our work, which is like the next project. Okay, so next project is like I wanted to uh, explore something like because I keep on thinking of what can be the next project, right? We can have purchase orders, sales orders, and all that stuff, but I was like, let's keep it generic, very simple, basic projects which everyone faces or as one time or the other time in their life. So it's like, for example, we have kids, right? I have two kids, a very naughty one. So I thought of, because every time I think the vaccination taking care of their vaccination, tracking it, what has been done, what not has been done, is a bit cumbersome. So taking inspiration from that and combining it with our series, that okay, what controls we can use. So it'll be like a vaccination tracker, what all vaccinations have been given to your kid in the past, and what are to be administered or to be given in the next months. Okay, so our our next is next I'll say next app is third app is going to be about Vaccination Tracker. Okay, and it's a third app. You press save and we are good, right? So okay, so that's a vaccination tracker. Let's just first get the setup done and then slowly we'll begin, right? So this vaccination tracker will have kind of two views. One will be the showing all the data which has already been administered in the past, all the vaccinations which have been given in a tabular format and in the future. So we will be exploring a new control which is tables, and then I would say that from, because tables is okay, and then I would like something like that data to be displayed in a calendar. Okay, you might feel that there are some apps which have already been done, people have done it, which is perfectly fine, and the intent here is to learn, it is to code together, it is to learn together, right? So there's no harm in repeating those things, because I feel it you learn something out of it, right? So we'll have this vaccination tracker which will cover tables, right? And then we will cover we'll try to bring in filters also if possible, and then we'll bring in calendars we have not covered so far, and we'll talk about some buttons also. It'll be like you can have two different views under one, right? So those kind of things we'll try to do. So without wasting much time, I'll just copy this. I'm just thinking whether we'll need COVID. Let's copy this and we will remove the unwanted stuff, and I just paste it, and I say vac, right? And for the timing, let's me just delete this. Let's have just vac controller, okay? And and this controller name has to be corrected. So this is vac and capital vac. We don't need this because now we understand it in another COVID one, and so we will remove this stuff we have already covered in our COVID app, right? And I'm just cleaning things, and later we can add stuff. And then this also we don't need. This one I don't need, right? And I don't need at least format and formatter, right? Because those are specific to charts. So just keeping it very simple. This is our controller, yeah. And just wanted to bring one more thing, that one of our community member Priya also has completed the first project. I had only a SAPUI Tracker counter, countdown timer, and he has made like a Indian festivals countdown timer, for example, for Deepavali, for not only Indian, the global one, the Christmas and all. So that's amazing, right? So that's the only intention. So these projects, you build on these projects, sky is the limit, and you learn, right? And you share also. So good going, Priya. And moving in the same direction, so we will create a view. I'll again copy COVID one, and let me call it as vac. And this two views we don't need. This view is a vac view, vac. And this will be like now vac dot vac with a capital C. Panel and all, no, we don't need panel. Might be, but not as of now. I cannot think of, right? And page we need, okay? So this is vac. We don't need viz files. We don't need this. The rest all are basic. We might need them, right? And I press save, and then I will have because now we have our third route. So let's just define it. We go to manifest.json, and we copy this one, right? And I just copy here. I say third, and control DC, and what do we call as vac as a target, and copy this, and here is a vac. Okay, so we have vac targets as defined, routes as defined as a target, and then let me hide this. We don't need this, right? And so we have our route also defined and views also defined, right? And let's try to check it. If I just say vaccination, okay, so there is some issue. Why? Because let's check what is missing. I go to here, it says vac dot cannot be loaded from this. Check for find of parse errors. Okay, view VACC. So if I go to view VACC, okay, this controller is vac, looks fine. What is the issue? VACC view. Okay, this is the issue. So if you look here, this dot is not there. So now if I just go back, and now it shall work. So yes, it is loading. You can see it's blank now, which is good. Okay, so this is the basic setup now we have. So how do we want to go? So I go to our SAPUI5 documentation, samples, and we need something like, there should be two buttons, or we can have radio buttons, right? And which will be like table and schedule, right? And then you can have or we can have something like so maybe we can have something like two buttons. It could be radio, but let's have two buttons. And then once you click those two buttons, if you click one button, you'll get a table view of the same data, which is related to your vaccination of the kids. And if you click on another, it will be like the appointment calendar or something, right? So maybe let's first check what all buttons we have. Simple button we know, but this looks fine. This is also good. So in on the page, we already have page, and its title as page. Okay, and I'm just thinking the default, reject, and action. Okay, so we have here default, reject, and action toolbar, right? This is like a subheader. Then in custom header we have back, press, and title. Okay, so this is where you have these two buttons, right? You have this. So I think it makes sense to have this kind of a title, right? And then you have two buttons. It could be radio one also, but I don't know. I'm willing to, let's add here. Let's try with the radio button if we are able to. It allows. Okay. So let me just first add a custom header, subheader. Let's just add here to our page custom header, subheader, and title is Vaccination Tracker, and let's see how does it look. So it looks default, reject, and why it is not shown, because it has show header as false. I say true. So now you shall see something like Vaccination Tracker. I don't need these back button as of now, right? I don't need this also. So kind of this looks fine. And if you want it like big, you can have it as this one, which is a bit bigger. Okay, now here let me try to see if we can have radio button. Option 1, 2, 3. I think this looks okay, right? Or let's have this one, colorful one, right? So we say, we just copy this. Radio button is part of, again, SAP.m. Button is part of SAP.m, which is our default namespace. We are good. So I don't know whether toolbar spacer will allow, whether this toolbar will allow this kind of buttons. I don't know, I'm just trying, might be. And if I just press save, and wow, good. So the moment you will choose whatever we'll choose, accordingly this display will vary. So let's have something like it will be table format, right? And this will be calendar format. Let's not write it as a format, it will be table, right? So we have table, calendar looks okay, red, I think orange will look fine. So let's change this state to warning. So error is red, warning is orange. So that's okay. Yeah, good. Okay, very good, nice. So now we have got this, right? So now let's look at our table. What kind of a table we want a responsive table, of course. So we want table width. Okay, this looks fine, right? We want something like vaccination name, child name, when it was given, or if it is in the past it is okay, or if it is to be given then it should be blank, or it should have some future date, right? And we can have a parent name or something like that, right? And then I think we'll have something like, let's consider it for one child as of now. So it's like a vaccination given, date, time, and which company vaccination was it, and ABCD stuff. So let's just look at this code. So this control is good. It is also part of the default one, default namespace mobile one, which is good. And again, this has a ID, then it has a what do we call it? It has a the items aggregation. Item aggregation, when I say, is it pointing towards some data, right? And then it has some toolbars. We don't need this toolbar, right? We don't need a header toolbar, we don't need column, this one sticky options. We all need is a table. So we can ignore these toolbars. Directly we can go to columns, and if you look at this column, it says this column is to be visible when screen width is minimal tablet, right? And so supplier is visible, right? Even if you make it smaller, then let me make it this, and so now if you see, so you don't have supplier because it is having the tablet minimum width is proposed here, right? That it has to be there in at least when it is a tablet one. Like for example, this column, what is this dimensions will be visible if it is in desktop, else it will be becoming a demand pop-in, right? So let's just make it a bit better, so everything becomes here, right? It comes here, it doesn't remain part of the column, it becomes a pop-in, it goes inside. Okay, so let's use it, right? So I will say, let me just first copy all of this and then we will remove things. Okay, so if I go here and add table, right? And we don't need these toolbars and all, right? So let's keep it clean. So what will we have? We'll have a vaccination name, right? And I don't need this. Okay, anyway, let it be there. Then we'll have a company, which is which company it is, right? And then we'll have a date given or to be given, right? And do we need anything else? Child name is still the same, and maybe let's add whether it was oral or injectable, right? So type of vaccination, because sometimes you give it my mouth, otherwise it is injection. So let's have these 4 columns, and let's remove the other, right? And in here also it has object text. You can have this column cells as object text. For us it will be we will use we can use object also, right? So let's try to use that also because it will be new. So let's have these 4 one. Okay, let this binding remain because I'm not doing anything with the binding as of now. All I'm saying is we have a table. Yeah, see, we have a table, vaccination company, and let's keep it all as tablet, else these becomes pop-in, they will come here. So let's keep it tablet. So date given or date to be given, and in case we click on table, it will show us this. If we click on calendar, it will show something else. Looks good. Okay, and then where is our data? So data for the timing, and like if wanted, I could have made a Node.js or a Capm based entity, but that is something I don't want to confuse people, right? So whatever we'll do will be self-sustained here only. We'll cover those different ideas and projects in the other stuff, right? In our another series, or God knows what we are going to start next. So I go to my model. Let me. Okay, this is the one which we use for COVID. So we'll create one more file which will be vac.json. Okay, JSON. I don't know. I love just JSON file. So I say this, and it's an object, right? And what all we have is a vac. Vaccination name can be typhoid. Okay, and company can be Novartis. I'm just, there's no preference for any company. It's just I'm trying to make what do you say, test data for us. And date, so let's say it is let me write it as it has to be in past. I'm just writing as May 23. I think I'll need to change this format, but that's okay, I'll do it later. Type is typhoid is injectable, so we'll say injectable. Okay, so this is our one data. I'll just copy paste stuff, because then it becomes easy for me to modify it, right? And let's just create these many. Okay, and for example, this should be AstraZeneca, this should be GSK, this should be Moderna, this should be again Sandoz, it should be Pakistan, CK, let's write here. And these are all test data. This has nothing to do with sample test data, so I'm just dummy test data. You can see typhoid, and then you have PCV, I remember few names. Then you have what do we have? It is for flu, and then we have this for, it's all flu is injectable. Then vitamin D supplements, or A supplement, I don't remember, it is oral. And then you have oral, let's have a few orals, and injectable and oral. Okay, so this is May, this is June. I'll get the temp. Next our project will try to create this dummy test data also dynamically, so that becomes easy for us. So I say this, and GSK here. So this is let me call it as a vac one. I don't remember the exact names, right? Because there are too many. So maybe let's have a COVID vaccine also, right? And then dates is like this is to be in 2021, this is to be given, was given on May 21, 25, 22. Okay, so this is a kind of a test data, and I just format it so that it looks beautiful. So now we have the test data also. So first thing is, as you know, what we do is we create a model, we set the model, and then let that data is being displayed in our vaccination file, the view. So what we will do is we'll try to reuse stuff. We have tiles controller, and we'll use this, right? And I'll go here. I say my tiles, it will be like my vac model, right? And it is model dot vac JSON, and the model name is vac. So now we have the model also set, the data is being loaded, and what is the problem? Let me just see. There is some error which is coming, and syntax error. Okay, there is some syntax error. Okay, this is error syntax 1, I think. S, an extra S is a syntax error. Oh, there is something else also. Let's see. Console uncaught, my tiles model is not fine. Okay, it's my vac model. Copy paste mistakes. So I say save. Looks okay, and if you go here and you just filter for vac JSON, here is our data which is being loaded, which is very good, right? So we have these all being loaded. So all I need to do is now bind this vac model in our front end. So I say in our, where is our table? So this, I don't need a sorter and all those stuff, right? So all I need to do and go here is I need to say my model is vac, and there's nothing else because I'm just referring to directly to this. If I would have here something like let me try to show you. If I would have here something like data, something like data field, and then its value, right? Then it would have been like more likely I would have, it will be like data, I have data colon this, right? Then it become another array, or I could have something like here this, and then data, and then this is an array, right? But to keep things simple, I just have directly this. That's why I just say an empty stuff vac slash this. Okay, now let's map some names. So here we say vac slash vac, right? I guess field is vac, I believe. You see, good. So we have typhoid, PCV, and all those coming, right? And here also we have next is a vac, and company is company. So I just say vac company, right? And this I don't need because depth and breadth and stuff is not mine. So we have now vac and company. Now date is given as more likely to be a we will have just vac date, okay, and then we'll see. We'll make use of the other this parts and formatters soon, but I'll show you. But for the timing, let's keep it as it is. And so it has two paths, which is price and the corresponding currency. I don't need that. I just need a simple number here, which is I'm giving it in a number, which is odd, but it's okay because we are doing it in our for our demonstration. So we have what do we call it as a type is this vac colon type, and that's it. We have these two, right? And white is coming in center because you have it is as center. I don't want it as center, I want it as end. So I just horizontally align end, so we have it as end. Very good. And if I just make it big, you'll see it is coming fine, right? And we are not doing anything here, so let's try to do something here. Okay, so what we'll do is that once that this table will get hidden, okay, if we select calendar, and if we select table, then this table will be visible. Okay, how do I do it is basically I will create a model let's create a another local model. I don't need a tiles controller, vaccination controller, yes. So we will say we have what do you want? Let my view config, let's call it as a view config, is equal to, sometimes I forget this, so we will say we'll say table, and by default it is selected, so we'll say true or x, whatever. Let's keep it x and we'll see what it is, because I don't remember things. So we will say blank, okay, and then I go here and I say, I copy this. What is this? This will come here. I go here and say my JSON model is based on this, and now this is what do we call as view model. Okay, so this is my view model, it is view. Okay, so I have my view model also done, right? Now let me bind it. How do I bind it? Let's, simple example, we go to radio buttons, okay, so we say whatever value is being selected. If you go here, right, and selected true, okay, so we'll need to have it as something like a boolean, right? So we'll say true and this has to be false, okay, and we will bind this value to our radio button. So where is selected? Selected is equal to model name view. If it is default, then we say directly the field name. So let me bind this view creator table field, and here also I just say that, okay, this one, and I press save. This is not table, this is calendar, right? So the calendar is blank. So now table is this, calendar is this. Now it is working fine in the back end. I think it is also getting updated because it is bounded to that model. Now we need to hide this table, right? So let me go to first table. Where is our table? Table, responsive table. We go to this API, properties, alternate, auto pop-in, background, fix layout, and pop-in, show overlay, and I think visible shall be a property here. Visible, if I'm not wrong. Get visible, yeah, it should be. So let's try this, might be it work, or else we do it dynamically. So visible, and then I say equal to this one, and it depends on this value. If it is true, if it is selected, it is visible, else it is hidden. So let's hope it works. So if I go here, it is selected, okay, hidden, very good. See, because if it is selected, then this table value field is true. If it is true, then this is also true. Now for example, what do we have? It is like let's bring in another thing also, or not, just as an example. Okay, let me just do this just to show you. So then we'll remove it. So I say another table, I just copy it, and I say another table, and I'll remove the ID as ID products table 1, and let's have just 2 columns here just to differentiate. Okay, so and here also we have just 2 columns. So now if I just say save, you see there are 2 columns. Okay, and I want this second table to be visible if I select calendar 1. So I just bind it to calendar, I say save. So now you should see one table. Very good. And now click here, another one, right? We'll not see this calendar, we'll see the calendar actually. So I think this is good. So let's just remove it, save it, control KF. I'm just formatting stuff. So now, okay, so one of the part is working, and I will have we'll work on this colors or indicators, and after we have the calendars, we'll do some add some icons and other stuff also. So what do we want? Once we select calendar, we want something as a calendar. So let's go to samples. I say calendar, single planning calendar, yes, and yes. So we need something like this, that okay, this vaccine was given on so and so date, this vaccine was given on so and so date, what is the next month like, do we have any vaccine? Good. So this is like let's look at this calendar, which it is. Okay, very good, it's in again in the same library, so we don't need to add any UI add or something. You can have a drag and drop stuff, right? Drag and drop is like you want to move this meeting to here, it automatically does, right? So these things you can definitely manage, but for us important is to first get the calendar. So how do I do it is I go here. So here is this class unified. Where is it being used? So I'm just seeing unified. Are these guys using unified? Yes. So here it is being used, cylinder unified. There's another one, so SAPUI.UI. So let's just look at what do we have in our YAML file. I think unified we might need to add. Okay, so we'll see what happens. So I just say control B, and what if I just copy this? We'll have a look at each and everything what is happening here, right? We'll not use everything. So we, for example, there's a button here for new appointment, and this is for legend for single planning, so we don't need these actions, so we remove it, right? For us there is a day view, work week view, week month view. This we need, let it be. Okay, then it is appointments, unified calendar appointments. So it is like if I click here, so you have a title, text, start date, end date and stuff, right? And then here you have an ID, classes, title is my calendar, which will come here. View change, there is some routine, if there is some view change, as in this change, this is view changing, right? Then there is appointment on what to happen if I select an appointment. Header data, what to happen if I select something in a header, which is okay. And then so we have appointment drop, resize, create different methods, right? And then you have those something like similar to our view fields, where you have drag and drop stuff and these options being enabled. But this is important for us, is this is important, that where are the appointments located, right? So now I think if because for us we don't want anything like appointment select. Let's look at the code also. Okay, so if I go to here, okay, so this is what their code is: title, type, and then you have start date and end date. Okay, Okay, this is the data which they are using. Okay, so title can be our vaccination. We can have okay, we can have same date and 1 hour. We can have 1 hour kind of an overlap or something. Okay, and then okay, so here we have handle appointment drop. Okay, we'll have something like handle appointment select, but let's look at that. So handle appointment select. Okay, so here is the handle appointment select. So whatever is the date selected, it basically creates it, get time, update binding, and then it calls a pop-over. That just loads a fragment. So fragment is like this thing which is loading. This is a fragment, this one, and we'll talk about fragment. This is the one, details fragment and modify fragment. So this is we will bring in because we don't want as of now the details. For us this much is sufficient, what is when. We'll bring in the fragments, might be in one of the projects for sure, because that is also something which I would like to cover. Okay, so for us these are irrelevant as of now. Just to keep things simple, I will just keep this thing. Okay, now title / appointments, and this is where it is doing the mapping, right? So our mapping is vac, right? And if I go here and I will just say for us it is like, we'll have it very simple, vac, this vac model, right? And then here you need a vac. Okay, and text, let the text be our company, right? And type an icon, as of now I will leave it as it is, right? And let it remain as it is. We'll just remove it. This is important because we have start date in one format and we have there another format. So let's just put it and see how what it works, right? So if I just say save and see what happens, and first of all I think yes, we'll get error here because if you remember we have not defined a unified one as a namespace, which we are using this one. So let's first do it. So if I say XML unified, and now if I just go and yes, so now it says allow binding appointments, wrong value. Okay, so no problem, we will check that. So let me first make it that bit smaller. See, so at least this is there, which is good, but I don't want it to be here in this way. So what I will do is, we want it to be visible when you have selected it, right? So what I will do is, first of all, at least it has come, which is good. So if I just say this VBox visible when calendar, let's just ignore the whatever errors have come. We'll think about them, what to do. So it is there, it is good, very good. At least we have this, which is good. Sticky mode is okay. Appointment actions, drag and drop, drag and create, resize. So let's just remove it. These are of not much use to us. This one, right? Select this. This whole is not of much to us, so I'll use this toolbar. This is our flow toolbar which has been added. So by default the table view is coming, which is good. We have calendar. Now this is what looks good. Wow. Okay, now okay, very good. So the thing which is pending is now let me bring in this aggregation with coordinate, only allow binding path as attribute value. Okay, so we'll give the path in. So I go here and I say if you look here, so here it has a path to appointments, okay, which is okay. So I will say this one I don't need. This one also I don't need. I will just say path is to vac, okay. And now let's see what it does. Wait state is not found, that is okay. Formatter is okay for me. Yeah, at least this thing is now that error is gone, okay, which is very good. So now what is remaining is our data is not displayed. Why? Because we have let's say week, month, what dates we have. Let's see whether it automatically, May we see lot of stuff, right? So if I go here, I say May, right, and in May I don't see the appointments coming, right? So this is where our real struggle will come, right? So we'll do that. So we are not getting any data. Maybe let's first look at the example source code. Let's just remove the unwanted part. I don't want this appointment select and all. We don't want this. All we need is an appointment. So okay, so if I just remove this, okay, and then it will not change anything, but I'm just doing it, right? And maybe I will also change this date to something like November 7, so that at least when it loads by default you see something, right? And this is pointing to Vex path. And okay, another mistake which I see is this should be having a model name, because it is not a default model name, right? So we shall have vac state vac this, right? And let's see what happens now. So still we don't see something. So let's just look at the example again and look at it. Looks like it has to do with the date the way I have. Yeah, because the date I'm supplying is in this format and it needs to be in something in a date format, right? And it also needs an end date. Okay, so let's do this. Maybe let me open a debugger is already open, so I just say new date. Let's see what does it returns. So it returns Saturday, November 7th. This is okay, this is good, right? So we need something like this, which basically convert this date into this format. Okay, so what we need actually is we'll learn something new also, is a formatter. So I was trying to delay it, because if you look here, there is an error which is coming because of formatter, right? Formatter doesn't found. So because it is okay to not have a formatter in table, but because calendar it is not displaying the data, so let's bring in this formatter which will convert from this date to this date. So how do we do it is we will have something like let me have this here, and start date is path is this, and I don't need this, right? And then I need a formatter, that is format date, and I will add a dot here so that it is there. And let's also look at the I don't think so we'll have any example of formatter here. We have why in walkthrough we have. So maybe if I just go to documentation, not download, please don't. So if I go to here and I say formatter, custom formatters, yes, so this is what we need, right? And we'll define the function, that is okay. Then I need so formatter colon, and this is a formatter, his name is format date, and which is in current. Okay, so now I go to here and I define this function. I could have added it in a separate file, right, like in this custom formatter, but I think to keep things simple, let's have this format date colon function, and all you need is a whatever is the input, right, and just call it input, and then you say what do you want to return. So you want to return is a return new date input. Yes, this is what I want to return. So whatever value is coming, it shall automatically be returned, right? So now if I go here, let's look at this. It says uncaught in promise. There is this syntax error. Okay, let me just quickly check. Okay, this also has to be in single quote, which I forgot, so I say this and this, right? And now at least we shall have our data. Very good. And but do we see anything? No. Why? Because end date also needs a formatter, so I will put this here and I will say end date is also same. So let's hope we get something on 7th now. Yeah, good. So we have 7th typhoid, which is good. Rest all are in rest all are in close to May, right? So maybe I go to May 23 week. Yes, so in May we have around 3 flu vaccine 1 vaccine 2, which is good, and we are able to see that this was given on this date, and if you need to go to today, it is typhoid. Very good. So but I still see one problem, which is the problem is that these all are coming in same color. So if I can have something like for injectable we have a different type, and for oral we have a different type, how do we do it? So that is something which we need. So I go to samples again, I go to calendar, single planning calendar. Now if you look here, these are different colors, meeting with manager, lunch, and you have these. Okay, so this is coming via these team meeting, personal discussion. Let's look at the sample code. This is calendar type 05. Okay, this is different than which we don't have in our JSON. And okay, so here they have defined also that type 01 as team meeting, type 05 is this. Okay, so maybe let's try to use it, or what we will see is, let me first make it big. I need to understand what this value is, right? So one way is I can have a look at the documentation, right? And where we can have something like calendar type, not here, and then I say calendar type. Yeah, here it is, calendar type, it is Buddhist, and this is not this calendar type. It is a different one. Hold on, go back. It is a different calendar type. It is calendar day type. Okay, calendar day, not calendar type. Sorry. So I say calendar day type. Yes, it is under unified, which is okay. Type 01, and so it has its different type 01, type 06. So let's do it like we assigned a type to it, to our data. So let me call it as C type, and for injectable I think let's keep it as type 01, and I will copy this and paste in injectable, so that all injectable are under one category. And then for oral we can have something like type 02. Okay, and basically I'm trying to categorize it so that you see differently. You're from this only you're able to see that, okay, for example, flu is injectable, and typhoid is something. So basically different colors to classify different things, right? So now if I just press save, nothing will happen because I have not mapped here. So if I just go back, search calendar, not an API, I need to go to samples, calendar, single planning calendar, I go to code, and there is a type, right? So we need to, we have earlier removed it, but it is mapped to C type. So now let's just see what happens now. So if I just remove this and I go to calendar, so typhoid is still the same. Let's look at the others. And if I go to May 22 week, flu vaccine 1 is the same. Okay, it has to have a model name. So let's see, typhoid is still the same. Let's look at wow. So now you see there's a difference in the color. So we have flu, which is what, which is a type 01 injectable. So injectable is yellow, and vac 1, vac 2 are oral, so that's why they are in a different one. And in case you want this to be also in a different one, you can have type 03. It's like you're categorizing your appointments, and you can have the description also, right? If I go to May 23, you have different colors, right? Good. Okay, so I think we have our basic stuff. The app is almost up and running, right? All we need to do is now highlight the ones which are in the past, presuming they are given, and highlight something else in a different color which is in the future. So that's like what I was thinking was like what do we call it, as a formatter, or let's look at this state, right? So like for here you have different colors, right? So I want something similar, right? And this is going to return a status, invoice status, right? And the text is, that is a text, that's not the state. So state is coming from here, number state. Yes. Why it is coming as error or red or green is because there is a logic which says invoice amount is if greater than 50, then it is error, else it is success. So greater than 50 is red, else success. So we want something like this, number number state, which is an object list item. We have already used object list item in our we've used object number, right? So we will use here and we will try to get this thing done. So let me just go to samples and we will have object number. I want to see that do we have anything something like a state for this, and wow, this is already red, green, yellow. So all I need to do is go here and see status error warning. Yeah, this is there. So I need to just set this value. So maybe what we can do is we can have this as an we already have this, right? So let's modify this. So since we don't want to bring in these values or hardcode these value here, I would like to make it dynamic, right? So I think we can use this another option, which is again formatter, but that formatter shall return these value only: success, warning, error, based on certain logic. For example, in our case, all vaccinations which are in past date should be success, all in future should be in warning. So we should either return success or warning. And now for this, what we will need is we don't want to pass multiple fields to this, right? So all I need to do is path, and I want to pass the date to it, right? And I don't need this. And then our formatter is format, what do we call it? Format state. Okay, so it will call this, and if I go here and I just copy this, paste, and if I just say, just to check it, right? So I will say return error irrespective of logic or input, right? Let's see what just happens. Error, right? So which is cool. So that means the code is coming here, and in case you want to debug it also, then you can green. So very good. So you can put a breakpoint also here, and it will automatically bring in the values. For example, input as, what does input as? November 7th, but we are not having written in logic, so it's still working fine. Let me just remove it. We are good, right? So let's have something like here, if let current date is equal to new date, right? And input date is equal to new date greater than input. Okay. If input date is less than current date, right? So that means it is less, that means it is in the past, right? So you return success. Else if input date is greater, the coming date is greater than the current date, that means it is in the future. So you say return warning, right? Else it is neither past, neither future, it is in present. So you return error, that this is to be done today, right? And you just press save, and then you wait. Very good. So number 7 is coming as past. Why? Because the time is different. I'll show you how. Because we don't have a time here, so that's why it is considering it as a so input date is 7th November 000. So current date is coming with 11:46. So it is in the past, so that's why it is in green. Good. So now our basic app is, I think I'm done with our project 3, which is our vaccination tracker. You can have these formattings, you can have icons, images, whatever you want, and you can have a click event sorting. So that's like things which you can explore further. And calendar also has our all the details. So we'll stop here, and I think we'll start thinking about what next project we can make together, right? And intention is to explore another new controls. And for example, just to summarize, in this video we understood formatters, states, calendar, and list, tables, radio buttons, so different things. So maybe in our next video we'll work on something new, projects, new controls, and we'll keep building our knowledge about these models. So till then, keep sharing, keep learning, keep watching, stay safe, and take care. Bye.